Forced to listen to the teacher and the lesson. Classes in session so you can stop guessing if this is a gift or a written down memo. See, I am a professional. This is not a demo. In fact, call it a lecture, a visual picture, sort of a poetic in rhythm like mixture. Listen, I'm not dissing, but there's something that you're missing. Maybe you should touch reality. Stop wishing for beats with plenty bass and lyrics set in haste. If its meaning doesn't manifest, put it to rest. I am a poet. You try to show it. Forced to listen to the teacher and the lesson. Classes in session so you can stop guessing if this is a gift or a written down memo. See, I get blowing. It takes concentration for fresh communication, observation. That is to see without speaking. Take off your coat, take notes. I am teaching a class or rather school, because you need schooling. I am not a king or queen. I'm not ruling. This is an introduction to poetry, a small dedication to those that might know.
Yo, listen, if you can hear me clearly, please let me know by hitting the like button real fast if you can hear me clearly.
That is sanity. It's simply fantasy.
Far from reality.
Poetry is the language of imagination. It's the point. You're missing it. Your face is in front of my hand, so I'm fixing it.
Mic check. Mic check. If you can hear me clearly, somebody please just go ahead and hit the like button. Let me know you can hear me. Check. All right, I got this. Yeah. So it's been on like Donkey Kong. I don't make it. Oh, thank you. I don't like these headphones. Don't like other headphones. All right, so listen, y'all hop in here and let's get this conversation started. There's a lot of questions. Social media has been going crazy since the announcement of the inductees into the Andrews High School Hall of Fame. And I have a gripe. I have a gripe. Okay. And I think it's legitimate. And y'all give me a little bit. Oh man, there we go, Brian, with the questions. Hold on a second, Brian. Let me get set up here. Mic check. Ooh. All right, yeah. So, Brian, these are off the top great questions. What is going on here? Just setting this studio back up. I don't even like the way the camera's placed, but wanted to talk about this tonight. I will definitely wanted to talk about this, but not like this. Having trouble, guys. I need to find my regular headphones. This is driving me crazy because these headphones I can only hear out of this ear. Oh, there they go. All right, mic check. That sounds better, but it's still, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, question. Good question. What we should have more people. I agree with that. And you were asking a question. Come on. What is going on here? What were the requirements? And I don't have those answers for you. And so I sent the link out to a few people and maybe we can get a discussion started. Hold on a second. Let me send this link, this YouTube link to my boy over there in Greenville. He was interested in this too. Now, oh boy, there you go. Pat, listen, there's a link in the description right there on Facebook. You can pop on and come on. Because yeah, we want to have a discussion about the this whole situation here. And I don't think the big issue is so much who selected. I don't think nobody would argue with Coach Hazen being in there. And anybody that knows anything about the history of Andrews High sports, you know, wouldn't have a problem with his name is Irvin White, but they, you know, I know him as EJ or Scully. And I do know this was the only person to ever win MVP in football, basketball, and track and field in 1 year. Well, and no disrespect to you, Pat, but you're not the authority on you know what I mean. You never heard of Marion James either, and that's one of the baddest running backs aside from Buck Nolan that ever played at Andrews High. And I got you. I mean, but we can't discount people because we don't know about them. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you know. And okay, now Pat, hold on now, slow down. slow Slow down, Pat. Let's talk numbers and tell me, why do you feel this way? Because you know, again, the process. You know what? Before we get into all of that, let me say this right here. Let me say my little piece right here. Again, there's a link in the description. I encourage you to come up there. Come on up there. Let me send this link over to the bullet. Come on up, man. Let's talk. You know what I mean? I'll try to keep up with the comment section, but I went to Andrews High, so my reading skills are limited. But all right, there's a link I need to send. Oh boy, right now. Again, I don't think anybody would disagree with, also, who was on the board? All right, Brandon, you asking, dude, you asking the great questions, because that was my concern. It's like, who's on the board? Who is it that has this insight into the history of Andrews High sports that would be able to be the authority on this? Was anybody in the listening audience right now approached or asked about this process? Now, one of my biggest gripes, let me get back to that real fast. I'll send this out right here. I'm gonna hold on to that comment until I get these other people on, I think. But the process, who was over the process, what was the criteria, who all was nominated. It was totally, I guess, all behind closed doors. And my biggest thing is, how is it that you start your Hall of Fame off and you don't put no female athletes in there? If Jametra Hanna wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer in Andrews High School sports for females, then I don't know. That's why I don't think the process was very serious, because there's no way in hell with the type of female athletes that ran through Andrews High School that not one female went in on this first crop. That's why I think it was a joke. I think it was, that's just my opinion. I don't know how you could overlook the contribution of the female athletes at Andrews High School. Well, let's start there. Now, again, with who you selected, don't know what the process was, don't know what the criteria was, but I do know that it's a shame that no female athletes went in or being honored in this way. And again, we can get into names, like people saying, maybe that first class should have been more than 3 people, because you got some, in the history of Andrews High School, you got some extraordinary, athletes that came through there. One that just jumps off the charts. Buck Nolan was a superstar at Andrews High School. Buck Nolan was, the year when they had that state championship basketball team and they traveled around, nobody gave a damn about that team. They wanted to know who that running back was. I mean, that whole 95 team should have been in, I think over time, I think the team, definitely the state basketball state championship teams deserve that, to go in as a team. And I mean, Pat, you know the records. Javoy Giles led y'all boys led the state in tackles. Now, how could you not be the best player on your team and you leading the state of South Carolina in tackles? Yeah, Buck was a man child. And again, who was on the board? I don't know. I guess it was hush hush, but I promise you, Marcus Pope is probably one of the rarest athletes that's ever been at Andrews High School, and he's got the accolades to back it up. These are just facts. Again, dude, we talking about state championship teams with Bobby Joe and I'm talking about Andrea Hanna, and I mean we can just run down the line: volleyball, um, track. It's crazy. Yeah, because we don't have but two. Well, Marcus, I guess, an individual. So I don't know how that would run. How many state championship teams do we have at Andrews High School? Did they ever win it in baseball? No female athletes is wild. That's totally irresponsible. I'm just gonna put that out there. See, that's what I'm saying. So and again, who was who was uh who was reached out to? Who was I guess we'll never know that. And let me get this stuff and put it up here. I'm sorry, y'all. I could do better. No doubt. I got another sports aficionado coming up in here. Somebody who has something to add to. Yeah. How you doing, Mr. How are you?
How you doing, brother? How's everything going?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm glad you're here, man. I would like to hear your thoughts on the subject right here while I download some pictures and add them to the thing. So please, you have the floor.
Well, a lot of people have been being politically correct, and I can understand it. I've seen vast posts in terms of, well, you know, it was on the Andrews High School booster website, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if you go to other high schools, Stall, North Charleston, Dorman, Ridgeview, etc. They have committees and not just people who donate to the high school programs or whatsoever, but people who've actually
Have a
played.
historical perspective.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, how can you sit up here and negate people like Marion James? And I understand they said
Because they
that, well,
they don't know
uh,
about them.
well, according to some pundits, it was we went off a criteria that was distinctive and it was not just high school accolades. But my thing is, I'll give you an example. I use me for example. I could never be in anybody's high school hall of fame because I played at 3 high schools in 4 years: Georgetown, Christ Prep School, and Andrews. There's no way that you can accumulate stats from 3 different schools and say Jared deserves to be in anybody's Hall of Fame. Yeah, I played at the collegiate level, but I would be the first one to tell you that no, I don't deserve to be put up against guys like Rodney Giles or Matt Morris or um, Ronald Pringle or even on the female side, Bethany Giles, Summer Joyner, Kim Shackelford, because all of these individuals scored over 1,000 points in high school. And that's just to name a few. I didn't even go to your Eddie Shackelfords, your Leroy Gaskews. I think Gus was the 2A state player of the year they won the state title. Dennis Graham, Martin Gilliard, Woody Smith, AC Collins. Like, these are people who deserve to be in Andrews High School inaugural Hall of Fame. Inaugural. First ballot. I don't care if someone played in NFL. I don't care if someone went and played 10 years in the NBA. If you are basing this, if you're saying this is the Andrews High School inaugural Hall of Fame, you're only basing it off what they did in high school. That's what it should be. It shouldn't be what they accumulate. It shouldn't be what they did after high school.
And again, nobody knows or maybe somebody, you said it was posted somewhere on some site that nobody ever goes to. Nobody ever decided to say, well, you know what, let's pass this information across Andrews the podcast, because at least they are trying to put information out in the community, but they don't take us seriously over here. But that's another thing. And so I say that's what leads to this type of thing, because again, I got an issue with the fact that there's no females in there, period. And also the fact that there's only 3 people. And so, you know, like right there, this is the thing that we get into. John Stamper was never a star on no team. And so, you know, maybe they put him in based on what he did after high school. So I don't know. There you go. Jared's back.
I'm back.
No doubt. Yeah. So yeah, did you hear what I just said?
No, sir.
Okay, well, like I said, apparently, because I don't know if the criteria is posted anywhere or was posted anywhere, it wasn't shared with me. Okay. Man, what's going on there? Come on. All right. Yep. I'm sitting here. I just set the studio back up, and so it's a little wild right now, and so that's why you guys are seeing all of this craziness here. But let me bring up the voice of Andrews High Sports and see what his take is on this whole Hall of Fame fiasco. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's going on, young man?
Hey, nothing much, man. I'm
Are we talking football again? We're back in football season.
Well, I guess that's how we would have to characterize it. But I would say that
that's why I dressed for the occasion. Huh? How about that?
No doubt, it's a little uneasy in Jacket Land right now.
Why is that? What's happening?
I guess I don't know. People are kind of put off by the whole process that they went through in selecting. I guess people are. I don't know. I'm assuming. My throw off is the number of candidates. I mean, number of inductees, and the fact that there's no female athletes in it. I think that's awful.
Man, I don't know. You know, I wasn't a part of. You know, again, I think it's a good conversation. But in all fairness to the committee and the folks that were a part of this thing, probably need to hear from them.
But Mayor, come on, Mayor. I got you diplomat now, but tonight we talking Andrews High Sports. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it real with you. They had every opportunity. I'm on the sideline every Friday night. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't think that they stuck their hand out to the community, and that's why they're getting what they're getting now.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that, because I learned about it through the post on Facebook. And so they had it out there in different venues. I think it's like most information. You know, we're right now in an age where the information highway is at warp speed. So things, if we're not interested in it, chances are we're going to miss something that may be even important to us, and we just miss it because there's so much out there. So I know from the school's perspective, I spoke to my brother, who's congratulations to him. He made the first ballot, and
listen, that's one of my heroes. Okay, and those who know, like that's EJ. If he wasn't on the first ballot, then I would have really would have been acting really crazy. But again, I still got to.
Yeah, but I think the thing is, I think that the just like anything else, when this information goes out and we don't take action on it because it was out. That's the first thing. It probably wasn't the most important thing to a lot of us because we were dealing with, whatever else. Because I will tell you, it was the last evening before, the nomination window was going to close before it really dawned on me that, if you got somebody you wanted, you felt that was worthy of competing for this, should have put them in there. So people get busy, but they had it out. Now, I think in anything, whether it's what I do or what you do, you never can do enough marketing and advertising, and this being so new, I think it just passed a lot of us, to be honest with you. And so then if you didn't make it in, that's the first step. It's like anything else. If you didn't get a nominee in, then they wouldn't even be considered. Now, once they're in, I guess, they're going to look at the criteria and based on, and I don't have any inside information. I wasn't a part of the panel, but I did read the criteria for competing for, this Hall of Fame thing. And it was pretty clear. Some people say it was too broad. It shouldn't include anything outside of your, your high school athletic, performance or contribution, whatever the case may be. But, and you and I spoke on this too before, I believe that it should, because if we're trying to use this platform for more than just what you do on the field, you want to encourage those coming behind the athletes, the student athlete. Let's put it in perspective, the student athlete, because if you wasn't academically sound, you wouldn't be able to play. If you didn't do anything beyond that, because I think just as important, because we want to encourage the kids not just to be the best athlete, but be the best student, and then be the best community, whatever it is, you got to be more than that. It's kind of, I think, haven't talked to any of the committee, just read the criteria, that we're trying to build something that that's going to inspire the kids to go beyond just football, basketball, baseball, or track, and whatever the case may be. Now, I think a lot of lessons are going to be learned through this process, through the comments, through these kind of platforms, on what everybody else. I guarantee the next round, you're gonna have that whoever's on that committee is going to have a lot of work cut out, because it's probably going to be more than 100 nominees.
No,
because now you have the attention.
Listen, I'm gonna cut their work down. The next group that go in, all females.
And I think it. We all want to, again, see now you and I dive off into a different conversation, because you can't have DEI in one area and don't have it somewhere.
Hey.
But I believe in diversity. I believe in that, and I agree with you, because I know from my era in '82, Joni Jordan.
Come on, man.
One of the most dominant. But if no one, not Joni, but if no one nominated her, then she didn't stand a chance.
See, and that's the way. I guess well, we can go ahead all and agree that the process wasn't perfect, and it just wasn't going to be perfect. So hats off to the people that got the process started. Let's do that, okay? But y'all still should have had some females in that process. I don't know who's on the committee.
And I agree with you. I think it should have been a representation of all, even cheerleaders. Yes. I think we had one of the best cheerleading, team out there. But again, that's my era. I didn't get to assess anyone that followed on, but I know we had some really good supporting cheerleaders, and they were valuable to what we did. But we all will have an opinion, but we have to understand the rules said if a person wasn't nominated, you wouldn't be considered. Now, I think in hindsight or moving forward, if someone, because again, you got folks like Leroy Neesmith, okay, AC Collins. I don't know if these guys' name were on this ballot.
I doubt it.
Yeah,
I doubt it.
But we all know Alan Poston.
I named them earlier. How
Okay.
can you not name people who actually played at the next level and not only excelled at the next level, but excelled at Andrews High School?
Leroy Gaskew.
Leroy
Gaskew, dominant basketball player, went on and did great things. But again, if the rules are they have to be nominated and it can't be by the individual, then we all need to have the same kind of energy to make sure that those have,
Well, who's the committee?
Right.
You were, sir. You played 4 years of collegiate baseball.
Hall of Famer.
Right?
I got the pictures.
4 years of collegiate baseball, lettered in football and baseball at Andrews High School.
And
You mean to tell me you shouldn't be on the committee? And I know that, and I wasn't born until your senior year of high school. But I know why, because I did my research.
Yep. And I think it's important to have that kind of history and interest in it and just knowledge about sports and to be a part of that. Now, again, I can't, and I wasn't asked, I would have, but again, there's so many more like yourself. You can sit down and talk sports all day, and whether it's boxing, football, basketball, that's what you do. So that kind of knowledge is valuable in a process like this. But I don't know who the committee members were, and I definitely don't want to know now. So
me either. Me either. But as Jamal and I talked before, and I think you were part of that conversation too, I think, Jared, is that this was going to be what it is right now. The outcome is going to get a lot of attention, a lot of opinions, and that kind of business because folks just missed it for whatever reason. And now, and it probably will, because I don't know if they're ever going to reveal the committee, and probably not. Let's look at what's happening even right now at the national football level, where this whole debate about whether it's Lamar Jackson or the young man out of Buffalo. Who's I don't know. You probably know. I don't know how those MVPs are selected.
Yeah, it's selected by the writers.
Yeah,
and so you don't know who the writers are. You know what I mean? But these are all sports writers and these types. And so, I would just hate to think that somebody's part of the committee that doesn't have any kind of historical perspective of Andrews sports. And I mean, again, moving forward, these are the things that we can consider. So, because these are the things that now they wonder what people are thinking. You're gonna find out what people are thinking right here. Just get in the comment section.
But sometimes it takes, again, especially if something is new, that first time out is going to be really tough, and people are going to, again, now this should be feedback or input to the next round, and then we all need to, we all who are now expressing our concerns and opinions need to stay tuned, volunteer if you put your name out there,
boost the club,
boost the club, all that stuff that gets you on the inside before it's time to vote. Because if you're on the outside, you're going to get whatever that committee, whether they're qualified or not, what they put out there. And I think, it's tough. I would hope it would have been more than 3, and then representation across, the various sports. And I mean, you look at the guys, even the guys that are playing right now, I can see, the kids that we just, had the privilege of, again, calling the games and video and all that stuff. Well, I know I've seen, at 7, 8, or 9 of these guys should be on the first ballot. So it's going to get tougher and we better get a process in place that is going to be, you know,
Trusted.
yeah, and it takes some. It's going to take some time. I would imagine next year is going to be just as contentious as it is right now.
The only thing I ask is if they're going to do it, you cannot base it off of what people did after high school, because it's a high school hall of fame. If you want to give points to people that actually played at the next level, whether it be collegiately or professionally, fine, but it should be based on their high school accolades. That's the purpose of a high school hall of fame. It's not what you, because you got some people, like I can tell you right now, Jonathan Maybank played overseas, but he didn't have a great career at Georgetown High School. He had an okay career, but he didn't excel until after he matriculated through junior college and then college. So why would I base him playing overseas off of being in Georgetown's Hall of Fame when he didn't have a great high school Hall of Fame? I mean, great career in high school. I just, it doesn't equate, if you ask me.
And I think that's a valid point. I saw some of that. I was reading some of the comments online, and someone expressed that very same point, is that yes, this person was, you know, made it to a level, but then wasn't that dominant in high school. I don't know the young man. I don't know, but I think this committee, or whomever, I'm assuming it's the athletic director who's, you know, chair this thing up, will take these things into consideration and expand it. I would like to see, because I don't know if this was a district wide mandate, if you will, for lack of a better term, that, because I know Georgetown did it, and was the other high schools involved? I don't know.
Not that I know.
I know Georgetown.
I think Carver's Bay already had one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
And it's a good thing to have, and you just got to work through it. Now, when you don't have a history, this kind of thing, you let so many outstanding athletes, you know, pass without being recognized. Because I think, you know, Coach Al Lewis, Simon Lewis, brilliant coaches. You know,
just to name those two, Thelma Hazelton is the first coach in Andrews High School history to ever have anyone go play at the collegiate level. Was she ever nominated?
Yeah.
I mean, these are the things you have to look at. You suffer from when you don't know from when she came. If you don't know your history,
right?
You cannot sit up here and tell me that certain individuals should get in before other individuals. I'm going to be completely transparent with you. It should have been at least, for it being the first year, it should have been at least at the lowest 7 members that got in. At the lowest.
Let me ask you this.
At the lowest.
Someone said she wasn't nominated, and that's the key. So the thing again, it goes back to, how do you even get considered? Were they nominated?
But how can you be nominated if you don't know the history? I'm pretty sure
it's the individual.
We know Coach Kenny Hazelton's history because he's at South Carolina High School Basketball Hall of Fame for coaching. So we know his history.
But somebody nominated Kenny.
Valid.
Nominated Kenny. Just like Simon Lewis I just mentioned. Nobody nominated Simon Lewis.
Wow.
To my knowledge, I think there was only a few, a couple of coaches, I believe. I believe that's what it was. But it was obvious, you know, Ken. Here's another one for you. The track and field coach. Oh my God, man, he's gonna kill me. He's a good man. This man is still winning championships. Pete's still winning championship. Pete took Andrews track and field coach. Yeah, Peterman. There you go, Peterman. Yeah, exactly. This guy took, but again, if nobody nominated Pete, then Pete wouldn't be considered.
So I guess that's the big thing is
That's the big thing. That's the ground zero.
To the people over the committee, we need some more transparency. You know, as far as I'm thinking moving forward, because you know we that's I think that's what's happening is that you know the committee is limited to what they know and to what people you know suggest to them.
And I will say this: it is the narrative. So if you don't make that, just like anything else, it could be your Peterman. It could be your you know your resume for a job. If you don't clearly articulate your capability, your experiences, and what you have done that makes you the best for this job, and somebody else does, then that person is going to get selected. And so then you may say, "Hey, Frank McClary," but they're like, "Okay, it's like Pat. You know, Pat has said, who's Frank McClary?" The narrative that you submit has to be so detailed that when that thing is in front of that person or that committee, it leaves them no option but to select that person. So you got to put that, you know, all of that behind it. It's got to be very clear that this guy is the best.
But here's the thing, Mary McClary, and this is what bothers me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pat Cumbie led Andrews in tackles 3 straight years in a row and was an all-region player from a sophomore up until his senior year, was all-state, all-low country. Buck Nolan, 31-0 state championship team, played in the North-South All-Star game, scored 2 touchdowns in the North All-Star game, All-American in high school, top 150 in the country. Anquan Pope played collegiately at North Greenville in football, played collegiately at Claflin in basketball, led the state in interceptions as a senior at Andrews High School, was all low country, all PD area, all state quarterback at Andrews High School, and played and was an all region, all toast to the coast second team player at Andrews High School his senior year. Now, you mean to tell me guys with these accolades, and I just named 3, I could continue to go down a list. I didn't even name Eddie Shackelford. I didn't name Kim Shackelford. I didn't name Martin Gilliard and Dennis Graham, who both were McDonald's All-American nominees and All-State as juniors and seniors at Andrews High School. So there's a lot of people with accolades that maybe didn't get nominated, but that's why you go back and you ask people in the community, you ask coaches, you ask former players, who do you think actually deserves to be nominated initially? Ty Legette. I said him earlier. I said about 30 different people that should have been at least mentioned on Pat's post itself. It's just problematic to me that I don't know who the committee is, but they should be doing their research with people who actually played, coached,
All right,
but
so
understand the history of Andrews sports.
All right.
so
So of all the folks, it still goes back to who find the person who nominated and who laid it out, clearly articulated all of these accomplishments that you just rattled off. Who put that in writing and put it before the committee?
I guarantee you no one, because probably no one knew.
That's the issue. And so then that small committee, and I'm assuming it's small, imagine if they had to go back what Andrews High School history of football is, 100 years or whatever the case may be. And that's why they rely on folks like you, us, whomever's, care about, getting these people in front of this committee. That's where that's the part. I think that's the first step that wasn't taken. And we went from not nominated now to here we are now talking about all these great athletes and have done some wonderful things. Shrine Bowl, all those I think that would have made it very difficult for this committee. But I would say that my guess, if a committee member would come on, we probably had less than 50 nominees.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. And then so Pat said he did 7. So I don't know. I would like to see, again, racking and stacking. That's where yeah. So
and my fault, we didn't even name Ken Cumby or Quentin Leggett, who both were Streets and Smith honorable mention All-Americans. That means top 150 in the country.
Yeah. It hurts. Yeah, great, Jamal.
Yeah, also, okay, guys, Hall of Fame night is going to be at the halftime of a basketball game. Wow. All right, so.
Well, I grimace at that because
yeah,
I would think something this big
should have a dinner, should have a formal, you know what I mean? Like, this is like a throwaway thing here. Oh, by the way, at halftime, you know what I mean? And that's good to see Kenny Hazelden being honored, played under him. Learned a lot about basketball under him, and
now maybe the presentation, but at the half. But I think I know Georgetown did it. I saw them had a nice social light hors d'oeuvres or heavy hors d'oeuvres I think it was with people there with the family members, and I think that is what I would have voted to have something like that. And then if you want to bring them in at halftime at a game.
To acknowledge them, that's more. Again,
yeah, we got to show that this is important. This, and on top of all the great comments and concerns of going out tonight, then for it to be presented like this, it doesn't seem like we put a lot of.
Doesn't seem like a lot of effort was put behind it. I don't care what anybody says.
And let's not forget the fact that we don't have no female athletes represented in that. I'm gonna scream that because that should not have been overlooked. I don't care how bumpy the process was, and I get it. The process because we talked about it. We knew the first time it wasn't gonna be perfect as it shouldn't have been. But to not have any female athletes in there, and then to throw it together at halftime, I guess what's going to come out of this is that the people in charge, the committee, you're going to realize exactly how important it is to the people. So moving forward, I think if you send me the information, I'll put it out. You know what I mean, and we can get this conversation going. But not have any female athletes.
Miss Stalvey, back-to-back state champion, softball.
Yeah,
great athletes on that softball team, and I think Andrea just posted some of them. It's got to be tweaked. I think if we send in some comments, maybe the thing will be adjusted next year. It's that it really looks across the spectrum of all sport.
It hurt me to my heart because Andrews actually has legends on the female side. I'm not even just talking about in basketball. I'm talking about in track and field. I'm talking about in softball. It's absurd. It's asinine, to say the least, that you can say we're going to vote 3 people in. We're going to leave it at that. When there's so much of a rich history that come from Andrews High School, period, on both sides, male and female. Like, you got to do your due diligence. It's not hard. It's so many different platforms that you could have posed questions and asked people to come up with different people that deserve to be in. And then once you got an abundance of names, then you come up with a committee that thoroughly understands what Andrews' sports history is truly about And then that's how you navigate the waters and get all the murkiness out of it. But if you ask me, I mean, this is kind of piss poor to say the least.
Yeah. There's a couple of misses. I got a good friend of mine. And again, I think here's the other thing. What I would ask all of us when we like right now we're pretty passionate about this thing, and I would ask us not to necessarily bash any era or player that we don't know a whole lot about, because I can sit here and talk passionate about the 80s, the early 80s. I know a little bit about the 70s because, I watch, the Rodney Johnsons, the AC Collins and these guys play ball. And I know these guys played people like Woodruff and stuff. So we have some, and we don't know all of it. So then maybe it's a group of athletes from eras that's a part of these committees doing some preliminary, assessment of these back before they get to the committee. And you will probably get your best from each era, like Pat.
Because
I didn't have an opportunity to see Pat play, but I heard about him, and I know he went on to my alma mater, and I think that's where he played some ball. So a lot of people have more knowledge about the athletes around their time coming up, and I think all that is important to be a part of the conversation before any selection done. I think that
you know what else this highlights, right? Is that you can go on like Max Prep Sports or any of these high school sites that track sports and look at scores and everything consistently across each platform. There's nobody keeping any records of any numbers of Andrews players. So when recruiters go on there and look at the players, there's no numbers there.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's program wise. That's somebody inside the program needing to care about, how the program looks and how when recruiters and different, when they come to these pages looking at these players where they can get the information and the numbers that they need that could actually spark, he's got these numbers. Let me go see. Let me look further. Yeah. All right. Again, shout out to Coach Hazenin. Basketball has not been the same since Coach Hazenin left. I promise you that. It has been horrible at Andrews High since Coach Hazenin left. And you can be mad or however, it's just a damn fact. We have not had winning basketball since. Am I lying?
No, you're not, and I will.
Ain't no nothing. It's gonna be an honor having the coach back in the gym. You know what I mean? But just for him to come in and watch what basketball in Andrews has turned to trash. I mean, let's just go. Given our history from Rosemary and somebody needs to go ahead and start putting that together, that Rosemary Hall of Fame, because there's a whole laundry list of athletes during that era that's going to be lost to memory.
Yes, it was tough there, Jamal. but I think even with that, we don't want to. We got to separate the athletes because we have some tremendous, exceptionally talented young men and women playing ball, even right now. I mean, I think we got half the football team playing basketball, and these guys are very talented. So they deserve, we got to give them the best shot at the next level. We got to give them the best shot at the next level.
Oh. And Kenny Hazenin gave us the best shot through coaching during the off season. When because we had the same thing. We had athletes that played ball and didn't play ball, but the guys that did not play ball, they was in the gym somewhere. He was developing that talent. Here's the thing: there's no secret to success. You know what I mean? Like we know the formula to success. It's just execution has just been not the best since. And I mean, you can go through from Branham to Giles to where we at now. Basketball has fell off in Andrews.
You know
what I mean?
You know how I feel about
shoot the messenger.
That's a sour taste in my mouth. Andrews Heights basketball coach is in Greenville, South Carolina, and he ain't never coming back. And I'll just
Man,
leave that at that.
I'll
I'll
leave
leave it
that
at that.
one.
I'll leave it at that.
Because now I'm attacking the program. No, I'm
I'll
not
leave it
attacking
at
the
that. And
program.
no, and
37 point.
it's not about attacking the program. It's
No,
just
it's about 37.3 points a game for a varsity boys varsity boys team. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm from Andrews High. I'm from Andrews, South Carolina, where we know basketball. You know what I mean? I can get 40 points a game from my daughter, the 9, 11-year-old team. Yeah. And it's a little brutal, a little honest, but come on, man. I mean, basketball has left Andrews behind. Like, I'm talking about overall over the state. And it's not, I could just go on and on and on and on. I had a great time at the Beach Ball Classic. But again,
but you saw Pat's comment just now. That's I don't think that should be overlooked. We played under all conditions outside. We played ball before it got into the hands of a coach that he's going to shape us. We all came, and there was a drive in us back then that we didn't have to be pushed or told to go do something extra. And that's what I think that's a big difference. Right now, so many distractions, I think, for the athletes. But to his point, when we hit that gym, it was a matter of a coach putting working that chemistry, making sure he's got the right 5 or 11 out there together to execute, because all of us came with a level of talent and drive. We wanted to play. We didn't have all of this nice weights and all this thing. We went out there and just took advantage. And that's missing too, I think, by athletes. Who is working overtime to be the best at their position? And so then when the Hazelnuts come in, very talented as coaching and understanding how to develop that talent, it made the world of a difference.
And here's to Al Moore's point right here, talking about direct across from the whole Piggly Wiggly. I mean, from across from Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah.
What that represented is that there was basketball year-round in Andrews.
Yeah.
There was basketball year-round in Andrews, South Carolina. And so I don't know what's going on at the rec up there at Andrews now anymore. Again, I can't say too much. I've heard some things. Maybe somebody else can speak a little bit more to it. What is the relationship between the community, and because that was a big part of that feeder system. That's where you went to test what you had then learned from Coach Hazelton and them against EJ and them guys were in college. You feel what I'm saying? We was out there balling against grown men.
Yeah.
Straight up and down grown men. Like
it was.
It was a rites of passage.
Yep.
I can remember myself, Al Shackelford, Marion Myers, Gundy, a lot of kids from the community playing with older guys, and it's always been that way.
Yeah.
From the time frame that I was a kid, like you look forward to going up there and playing against the adults if you were good enough to hold your own. And if you didn't, then you got to come back during the week and play on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Or you better be shooting on the other end when the ball on the other end to be out of the way when the break come back the other end. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But you knew you passed when you walk in there and hey, young buck, come here. You know what I mean? Thinking you on the team, because there ain't nothing like being under the rim when EJ and Greg Graham going at the basket together. I'm talking about collisions where you like, whoa.
Yeah, it was brutal, man. I mean, you learn the hard way. I mean, you learn by getting out there playing with these dudes. And it didn't matter. I mean, like I see Hank Vereen right now, or the Pusha guy. We talk about how the game was. These guys are much older, but we were in there with them and learning how to play the game. We got beat down, but if you were big like EJ, you handle your own at age. But little fellas like me, you had to learn the hard way. But that's what made the difference. You don't see that now. And if the facilities are not available, like it's being expressed right now through some of the comments, it's not supposed to be that way, man. Just open it up. We always talk about, where can the kids go and do X, Y. We have a $5.5 million facility here. We didn't have that coming up. We had that old rec we're talking about across the street from where I live. And we all packed in there. We waited. We signed up on the sheet.
Yes, sir.
And you waited. And sometimes it's 30 minutes until you get in. But you were ready to go because if you didn't win, you off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it was, man. And so we were thirsty for that kind of stuff. But we didn't have the internet and Facebook, cars, and all this other stuff that the kids have now that's distracting them. And so it's a lot of things I think that plays in that has caused, this breakdown across all systems for us, man. And I don't know how we get it back. But
hey, man.
I don't know how we get it back.
We need to toughen the hell up. People need to toughen up again, because that's and I was out agreeing with Adam. That's where the toughness and all that came from. Is how we came up playing and like going through that rite of passage and playing with them guys. What up, Terry Hooks? Another legend right there.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about playing at the next level. That's USC, man. Yeah. So it's the talent out there, man. So hopefully we can get it right, and celebrate, all of our, as much as we can, all of our outstanding athletes across the board. Joe Marky Richardson, what's up? That he's supposed to be the Jim the Greek of all games, and so it would have been great to have the Greek on the show tonight.
The link is right there in the description. All they gotta do is click the link and come right on.
No, he would rather call me and then and lay all of his knowledge about all the sports and what happened over the years. We need to come on the podcast there, Mr. Richardson. But it's I don't know, man. We'll see. But we have incredible talent here in our town. Nobody mentioned Donald Rutledge.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like and I was thinking earlier. I said, well, what should happen is in the next round, the committee should, because you got the people there. There is a line of contact with all the classes, right? And you can start these conversations within the classes, and then then these names start being brought forward, because people going to remember who was in their class, who was the top athletes, who was the top this, who was the top that.
Maybe that's where the nominee should come from.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it is. The classes should get together and nominate, somebody from their class. Get your best writers in your class, and write up a nice joint right there. But again, Eddie Shackelford definitely, he gonna be in there. A legend, you know what I mean? Andrews High School basketball.
Hey, I'll tell you my little story on the Shacks, man. Again, I left in '82, and a lot of these guys and young ladies were younger. And I remember Bad Dude, we played direct ball. Bobo, I think some. But, and I went off in the Army, and I came back, and I started hearing all of these, the Shacks. And I actually, one of the brothers that was in the military, I played ball with him in California when I was stationed in California. And I'm talking about the talent in these guys, man. It was crazy. I'm like, where did these Shacks come up with all this talent? These boys were killing it.
Talk about Earl. Earl was in the military.
Earl, yeah.
Like
Earl
a wizard.
I think he was stationed in Texas. And I was at Fort Irwin, California. So they came out for a training. And, when they all come in for, Fort Irwin, they go to the gym and everybody's working out. And I saw this guy, and they all, they look alike. You can't miss, a Shaq when you see him. And I'm like, that's my homeboy. I think I was a lieutenant colonel, whatever. So I'd been in the Army a while. And I saw this guy when I got to him to talk to him, this Earl, and some of the most dominant athletes. And so we just gotta maintain this same passion on the next round and make sure that these worthy athletes across all the sports are considered for this next cut.
There's a name for you right there, Silas McGill.
Hey, look, man. See, that's my era. That's my era.
Should have been the next Doc Gooden.
Yep.
Should have been the next Doc Gooden.
Yeah, and you talking basketball. You talking Rodney Giles could have went basketball or he can go basketball or baseball.
Yep.
And then
you don't get the name Gas, just by throwing the ball. When someone says it's Gas, that's bringing the heat, and that's what Rodney was a couple years behind me, but I played ball with him, and one of the best pitchers I know came out of Andrews High, and basketball. Obviously, been on I think one or two of the two championship teams.
Dixie Youth World Series MVP, Rodney Giles.
No doubt. I forgot Terry did go to Shaw on a full ride track scholarship.
Yes, he did, and then played football at University of South Carolina.
Yeah,
was the number one state. What is the number one punter in the state?
See, right here, man.
And see, that's why I was kind of I had some angst with coach this year about the kicker situation. Like we couldn't develop a kicker, we couldn't get a kicker or whatever. Okay, because during our time, we did that. Kenneth Sessions would tie that big toe back. You know what I mean? And kick them field goals. And I mean, we just did it. It wasn't we can't do that. He wasn't the soccer style kicker, but the whole goal was to just get the thing through the damn, through the uprights. And so that was
But we have there's a history of our athletes coming out of Andrews High being snubbed or not promoted for the next level. And so how do we fix that? It's just the ones that made it out, you look that there was another driving force that many of our star athletes don't have in terms of the resources. And so I'm definitely concerned about, just over the last few years with the talented kids that are coming out of here that doesn't make it into some of these bigger programs. Our athletes have, I remember at times you would play a sport, then when that sport's over, you're still in school, coach would walk by you and not even recognize you. Something, that has to change because there's too many. We've heard all these names rattled off, all these folks who've done outstanding things, but then when you look, let's say Stephon Boyd.
I was about to see if you didn't, you know what I mean. Stephon Boyd, All-American out there at Fullerton Junior College.
Yeah, North Star, All State, all of these accolades and academically sound. This young man should have been in the D1 somewhere.
Yes,
but
he finished as a 2A.
Fullerton got redshirted the first year. This year he played the full season. He's an All-American. But how did he get there? Who put him in place other than himself, his parents? We worked with him.
Well, that's going to get into that conversation, Jared. That we having about preparing these kids for college before, so that they don't have to have that year delay.
Can I tell you something though? To both of you all.
Yes, sir.
The issue is that back in the day we had a tech prep and you had college prep. Well, the NCAA pretty much has weighted and unweighted GPAs. And you have your core classes. And you only get 4 years to actually complete those core classes. A lot of times, these kids aren't taking the right classes initially so that they could be eligible to play at the collegiate level. So although you might have a 3.5 GPA weighted, your GPA might be a 2.8 on the unweighted scale. And that's the one that's tracked. It's not the weighted. And
when do you suggest parents start putting their kids on that track? Not so much that they
seventh grade, 8th grade, they should start finding out what's the requirements. And if your kid you feel like your kid has the ability to earn a free or reduced education at the collegiate level, then in middle school, you should be identifying what he or she needs in order to be prepared to go play collegiate sports after high school. that's the issue with a lot of kids in South Carolina who have to go JUCO because academically they can't cut it.
Exactly. And you may have a kid right at the same level or maybe even a little bit below, but academically it's not going to be a risk bringing this kid in.
But here's the other thing then. But how do you explain, again, we don't have to go too far back to have examples of this kid being academically sound. I mean, the top of the class, top of the sport. Again, Chefon. You look at Tunk Dorsey. He's at Erskine. Yep. He's killing them down there. But why
you know the problem? You know the issue? You know what the issue was with those young men? Although they were superb athletes, when you don't go to the elite camps. The elite camps.
But these guys went to camp. I know.
I'm talking about Alabama. I'm talking about Rivals. I'm talking about well, it used to be scvarsity.com. He no longer does it. It's different combines that they have and different collegiate individual camps. Like you got guys here in the state of South Carolina that take guys to camps, the college camps, the individual camps that other college coaches will be at. And this is where these kids are getting on the radar in terms of offers. I'm not talking about going to just the University of South Carolina team camp or going to this camp or that camp in the state of South Carolina. There are elite camps that individuals are invited to or high school coaches know about that they can take their kids to, especially in football, so that these guys can have the opportunity to be recruited.
So is it a situation where the coach has to pretty much lobby for the kid, or is it a selection process?
No, it's not necessarily a selection process. Here's the thing about recruiting, even in college football, it's still regional, unless you're a top 25 or Power 5 program. It's still regional. So these high school coaches actually can take their kids to certain elite camps if they choose to. And we're not talking about basketball elite camps that are pretty much money grabs to some extent. We're talking about football elite camps where these are where kids really go to get recruited. I don't care how well you do offensively in your high school setting. They want to see you in 7-on-7s, and they want to see you against other top players nationally so that they can say, we're going to offer you or we're going to put you on our radar. That's the distinct difference. You can have 1,500 yards in high school in the state of South Carolina and still go under-recruited.
It happens all the time. It happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but so then what? Let's just focus on Andrews. That's where we are. So what do we need? What needs to happen in school for those guys that we know that are athletic and academically prepared to play and go to school in a D1 school? What needs to happen?
First of all, you have huddle, so they need to cut their own. They need to cut their own tapes up. I mean, you got guys that are actually have social media platforms like Mr. Richardson that I'm pretty sure would cut up film if a young man asked them to, and you send them out.
And so there are people, and so that's the thing too with these parents. You got to understand that you're gonna have to invest in your child's future.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
So you can come to a person like me, or you can spend a few dollars and go hire a professional editor and really do a service to your your child's thing. And so to your point, I just had a conversation with some athletes who from Andrews High who we're gonna feature all year during the football season, and before that, in hopes to put together that recruiting package for them as far as something to send out to get them on the radar.
I'll give you an example. I asked a young man that I think could either play Division I football or Division I or Division II basketball, and Davion, who's recruiting you? When I was in the barbershop maybe about 3 months ago, and he told me nobody. Here's a high GPA kid that is 6'5", 6'6", 270. Has great footwork, not just in basketball, but that translates to football. We're talking about a kid that possibly could play on Sundays
That
if
kid
given
is
the opportunity.
he's also a high level baseball player.
And that's sad. And that's sad. That bothers me more than anything. And I understand coaches can't do it all. I get that.
So there you go. There you go. What do we do this year to affect that?
What I just stated, highlight films, reaching out to colleges on your own behalf if you are an assistant coach in a program, or even if you're working with a kid and you're taking them to elite camps. You can email and you can send film.
Absolutely.
You can call coaches. I talk to coaches regularly. Adonis Anderson. A lot of people don't realize Adonis gets more done, in my humble opinion, than 85% of high school coaches in South Carolina in terms of reaching out to college coaches at the Division I, D2, JUCO, NAIA level. You got people around here that are willing to help you. It's just you taking the time out to ask, what can we do in order to be helped? Like, you got wealth of information and a lot of people here that are willing to help said kids. It's just about you taking the time out to ask them.
Well, I'll say this, just again, my few years of association with the sports, well, football. I see more parents. I think let's say even Felicia Pinckney, and her involvement in getting her son recognized and in the right places. Not all parents obviously can do that. I don't know how much assistance through the school was a part of that. Look at Ms. Danielle with these outstanding athletes she have on the team right now, and how they're putting that effort. So I guess the thing to parents is that I guess we shouldn't wait on anybody else to get your son and daughter.
No, can't wait on coaches to do
formula.
This.
We got to help teach them. If you're very, very knowledgeable, G, on this stuff, and somehow we got to sit down, have a conversation on the path, and it's got to start before high school. So if you see this talent, both on academically and athletically happening down at the rec level, they got to start getting these kids' name in front of somebody at somebody's school or at these camps. In my opinion, your thoughts?
It's going to cost. The average camp runs anywhere between $250 and $500, depending on where you're going. Depending on where you're going, how long you're going to be there. So, like I tell parents all the time, you can invest now, or you can wait till after they're high school seniors, and we're trying to get them into a junior college or in a post-grad because they didn't get recruited by the schools that you thought were going to be recruiting them. Because I'll tell you this right now, our region and all state in the 80s and 90s, early 2000s, it mattered. It does not matter now. It's many kids that I know that make all state that don't go play Division I or Division II basketball or football at the next level, for one reason or another. So,
look, basketball, for one thing, is that, like I said earlier, basketball has moved away from it. Basketball is a year-round sport for most kids now.
It is.
Okay, Coach made the comment earlier. I mean, this year after the Philip Simmons game, on how it's really not fair competition when you match us with a school like Philip Simmons, because whereas these kids show up to school in the morning, go to workout, you know what I mean, go watch film, then go to class, then go to practice afterwards. We're not doing that. I mean, we used to do it when I went to school. We had a weightlifting class, but some of these programs have like the kid I interviewed from Prince George Prep. That's a basketball school. You know what I mean? So putting our kids up against these kids is just, you know, and so we have to do what the other people are doing. What are the championship teams doing? They playing ball year round. Period.
And I'll say this.
It is another issue. Kane Bay.
We lost you. I think he's driving.
Yeah, so yeah, parents got to get involved.
The schools that.
Oh, he's back. Go ahead.
Oh, you got say it again. We lost you, Jared.
Oh, my fault. I said, well, Kane Bay is not a private school,
Mm-hmm.
and although Philip Simmons is a charter school, they have, same with Ashley Ridge, they have basketball and football classes, which is similar to weightlifting. So a lot of times these kids come in at 7 a.m. and their first class is basketball class. Well, you know, they're lifting weights or they're doing some form of skill work. Same with football.
Philip Simmons this year, they had sophomores looking like our seniors.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? On the same level as some of our seniors. And so it's and that's, I guess that's a district thing. I think the coaches said he's been pushing within the district to get Georgetown County to adopt these programs, because we can't compete and expect to win at any high level when we're playing against schools that got basketball, got football as part of the curriculum.
But they also hand select. They pick these athletes for their. I mean, that's what these schools really around it. So,
but here's the thing, though, Mayor. We're the only district with open enrollment. So a kid that lives in Waccamaw, if he wants to come to Andrews, he can come to Andrews. They don't have that in Berkeley County.
Right. And so
whenever a kid goes across some the coach was breaking that down to us earlier this year, when they go across whatever lines, that student counts as 2 or 3 students or something like that. He was explaining this.
And they have to pay. So it's just a matter of, and I'm gonna just be, if you're not recruiting, you're not winning. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Just like high school kids got NIL, I tell people all the time, if I see a kid that don't belong here, I'm getting them the HELL out of here. Because at the end of the day, it's about that kid being successful. I could care less about just the high school being successful. Now, if I see a track,
wait, unpack that a little bit more. What are you saying? Are you saying that,
what I'm saying is this: if you're doing right by your kids, meaning if they're going to camps, if they're being developed, if they're taking the right classes, cool, you stay at your local high school. But if they're not, and they have the trajectory to go play Division I athletics, I am trying to do my due diligence to get them the hell out of there, especially if they're a basketball player. So you could be mad with me. I'm just telling you that right now. Because
no, I mean, I don't see why. No, that's nothing to be mad about. I get it, because that opportunity window is so small that, you know, they don't get a second senior year.
No. And then you got to realize that I've watched so much talent since 2010 that have come through the halls of Andrews High School that didn't reach their full potential for one reason or another. And it wasn't because they weren't athletically gifted enough. It's just because they didn't have the right people in their corner working on their behalf to help them, not just from an athletic standpoint, but academic standpoint. And exposure standpoint. High school athletics is a business, people. This is not Frank McGuire walking into Andrews High School back in 1981 saying, hey, we want your child. No, you have to be playing travel basketball year round. You have to be going to elite camps in football in the spring and the summer. Or 7-on-7s and etc. If you're a baseball player, you got fall leagues, you got winter
travel
leagues,
ball.
You got travel ball all throughout the year. This is Grassroots sports and high school sports coincide, and it is a business. And if you don't invest in your children, well, I hope they have a 4.0 in high school and they can get an academic scholarship.
But I'll say this too, and I think it's even if none of those things happen, if these kids, again, we can use, Stephon Boyd as an example. If you know you have it, you go to a school if that's going to be your jump start. Tunk Dorsey. If you know you have it, don't let this process that we're discussing right now cast doubt in your mind that you can't play at the next level.
They're going to play on Sundays, though.
Yeah,
I think the two that you named, they got a shot to play on Sundays.
Yeah, you go. I mean, it's the drive, man. And again, it goes back to what the guys were saying earlier about the things that we did it almost every day. We competed with, people that is much more talented than us, older than us, and made us better. But it's a drive, just like anything else, whether it's a job or sports. You don't let a process stop you or deter you from going for what you want to do. That's the bottom line. And we have to remember that it's so many, getting to the next level in terms of, NFL and, Major League Baseball, that's few and far between. That's a small percentage. So let's keep this thing in perspective. But again, give yourself a chance, go to school, play hard. You got to walk on. Just let it be your drive.
Hey, and for some of you younger parents, get with the parents that have made this thing happen. Roderick Dorsey, aka Sippy, is somebody that you might want to talk to. Again, we talking about his son Tonk, and then he has another kid that plays Slick plays up there at Howard
Hampton University.
Yeah,
Hampton. I'm sorry, at Hampton. And so that's a part of that too is parenting, man. It's going to go back to that parenting situation.
Yep.
Okay. And like you said, invest in your child now.
Mm-hmm.
Invest early and and see where that leaves you. But yeah, man, this is a good conversation. We kind of got away from the Hall of Fame there a little bit, but
well, these are the things that I think that feeds into it, because it all comes back to community, parenting, and those things. Because if you rely just on a coach to get your kid to where they need to be, it's just a failed idea.
And I'm gonna be completely transparent with you. A lot of these coaches don't have relationships with college coaches.
That's
so
a problem.
Need to find people.
That's a valid point right there.
You need to find people who do.
But look at what's happening right now at the collegiate level. So all of these, the Deion Sanders, all these coaches coming back down to their alma mater or to HBCUs, they're bringing that connectivity to the. So then why don't we have that in the school? Where are the folks that played ball in Andrews, played it well enough that they can come back and coach? Where are those? Where's the continuity in our school right now in Andrews? Where are those folks? Why haven't they been given an opportunity to get in here and help mentor, coach, and inspire our kids to go to the next level?
Yeah, that's something that Andrews has never been very good at, is reaching back to some of those, qualified people that and I mean, in qualified, I don't know, that's a loaded term. I think the love and passion is the quality, it's the biggest qualification that you need. But yeah, our program lacks that. You know what I mean? There's no. Our program lacks that. There's no familiar faces. No,
You get. I mean, it's important because again, you can. Who's that person that motivates? You may have a tactician. Can get it. You put all his plays together, but if you can't get into the mind of that player and bring the best out of them, and a lot of time that is having someone that's familiar, that knows the family, that has that kind of. So you got to have that diversity, I think, in your staff that can do that. When I got back here in 15, man, I watched Allen play, but when I came back in 15, I went out. He was at the B team, and I was had an opportunity to go out and help coach or assist, where I can. But I watched how he fundamentally break down the game for these kids and taught them how to play that game, but he could relate to them. You know, there was it's not, you know, they respected him. He had a lot of discipline. Same thing I can say with Al Lewis, Simon Lewis, and those kind of guys. Hazen, I never played for Hazen, but I saw how he, you know, manages his team. But somebody has to be able to relate to these guys that they respect and trust that what this coach, whomever is assisting down there, whatever your role is, you could be the hype man. I don't know. But somebody then that can motivate them to do their best. You know, a lot of parents in the stands, man, talk to some of those guys. Some of them you could have been down there because they know the game. They have the passion, not just for their kid, but for the game and for, you know, Andrews. That seems like it's a missing piece in the puzzle.
You have people that are around, but one thing I can say about coaching at the high school level or coaching with a high school is that some high schools really don't allow coaches to come back. I can't say Andrews doesn't, because I think Coach Brown has reached out to some of us. But while you're coaching your high school team, some of us are out scouted. Like for me right now, I'm out looking at multiple schools so that we can bring into our travel basketball program. So there's no way that I could just sit up there and be at every Andrews High School basketball game. Now, but you do have other people that are willing to come out and help from time to time, and I will eventually. But it's kind of hard to work 1:30 in the afternoon to 12 a.m. and then come out and be at every practice. So, you know, there's some people that I'm pretty sure would be willing to come out and help if they were asked.
Yeah, they're guests. I mean, they could be guests. They don't have to be on the staff, but I understand. You know, it would have to be approved through the dish, all that stuff. You know, for the protection of the student, to ensure you have the right people there. But if you listen to, you know, the guys on the fence, you know, the guys along the fence, you can't. And again, some of them in the stands, you can't beat the passion, man. Maybe you bring them out, and these kids may, you know, have a lot of respect, because sometimes the coaches' relationship with an athlete, it's almost like the parents sometimes. You know, kids will disregard what the parents say, but a stranger can come and tell them the same thing. Oh, that's a good idea. I'll try that. We have to find that, like Stitch. Stitch is the guy I think can reach any kid, and they respect him.
Great motivator. I played for
him. Great motivator.
So he's great motivator. Great motivator. Personable. And
yes.
and he'll
where's our Stitch?
He'll tell you in a heartbeat. I don't. Wow.
That's what's.
I'll say it again. Greenville. Greenville.
Yeah, Stitch is, you know, a guy like that. But we have those athletes, those not necessarily, you know, and folks that these kids, we just got to figure out how to integrate them into the program that they can be of help. That's my take. All of that to say we're gonna get the right, you know, nominees for the next famous.
Hey, I hope that the committee is watching, because I mean, just from the comment section, bro, there's a lot of interest in this subject. There's a lot of interest.
Not here to bash. We just.
What era did Dennis Bobby? What era did Dennis Bobby play in?
Dennis had to be in the 70s, right? Because Dennis was before.
Okay.
I think Dennis was in the 70s. I don't know. I know Dennis was very fast. I know he played, I think it was track and field and some football, but I never got Marion James.
Yes, sir.
You know, guys like him, there's just beasts out there, man. You know, Rock Beelan, God bless his soul.
Wow.
Yeah, Johnny. I mean, yeah, man, yeah. It's just and if you don't believe these guys that we had some very good players and good teams come out here. Ask George Howard High, ask Winyard if we beat the brakes off of these guys. We didn't fight like things going down, but they know we didn't like each other. When we get on that gridiron, man, it just we didn't even date the girls from Georgetown because it was around sports. We just didn't interact with them like that because all we wanted to do is defeat them on the field, and it was a healthy competition, unlike what we kind of experiencing right now. But that's what we took to the field back in the day. We just loved playing the game and being tough guys out there. That's all it was, because it was a bragging thing. And Andrews is always, I think the last 2 years, I think we did it. Yeah, we were I said county champs. There's no such thing, I don't believe, but we're beating every team in the county.
Yeah, we dropped that one to
It used to be a mythical,
who was it?
A mythical county champ when Ray White was the sports editor for the Georgetown Times. Used to be all county teams and a mythical county champ for football and basketball and baseball. I guess that went out the window when Ray White left the Georgetown Times and retired.
Yeah. See, I didn't got in trouble because I didn't call the names of an era that I missed a few folks. But man, it's just incredible. But as always, our complaint when we leave school is that nobody try to help us to get to the next level. Yeah, Vern Tizzle, Ben Hudson. Now Emmanuel, I think was Emmanuel the fastest? Was it Hewell, Ricky Hewell? I think running the 4.2 40. Emmanuel was right, and then we started. We had athletes coming out of Sampit, and to your point, all those guys came here. We had those outstanding athletes come here and combine with, and we were really good teams. To never get over that championship hump, but just outstanding. So then we want to see those men and women named in the rafters or where we're going to put them, So it's our duty, in my opinion, to be a part of the solution. We got to get involved in that. If that's joining the Booster Club, let's giddy up. Writing letters, whatever it is. Having these conversations are great, but it may not move the needle as far as it needs to be moved. That's my take.
No doubt. Any was give us a final take there, Jared, because I feel like this conversation is definitely gonna continue.
I just pray that going forward, you get people from different eras that are knowledgeable and understand Andrew's history when it comes to sports. If you're going to go forward with this high school Hall of Fame, you want people on there that are going to be transparent, that understand that everybody's not going to be able to get in that year, but more than 3 people have to get in. I mean, on the low end, 5, on the high end, maybe 8 to 9, but it should be more than 5 people getting in each year. And you can do it at the homecoming celebration in terms of having a dinner or something of that nature during a week. You got to make this a memorable moment, because not everybody can say that they were a Hall of Fame athlete in high school. And it's more than just being talented. You got to have the numbers, got to have the accolades. And, I get it. Like, I'm a guy that played at 3 different high schools in 4 years. So I tell anybody, I would never be anybody's high school Hall of Fame. However, I know a lot of people that deserve to be in there. And I would be willing to sit there and comb through the numbers and give my 2 cents on why that person deserves to go in. You got to give people their flowers while they're here.
And you're right, man. And I think we have 53 years, because that's when the school was integrated. I think it's 71. And so we have 53 years to get caught up with athletes at that. So doing it by threes is not going to get us caught up.
Not at all.
It's not going to get us caught up. Those numbers are going to have to be, that would be one of my recommendations, that the number of inductees is going to have to be higher until we get caught up, because it's every 5 years. So these young athletes coming out now, it's going to be 5 years from now that they can be considered. But we got 53 years to get caught up.
Yeah, and starting out without any female athletes acknowledging that wasn't the best. It's not the best look. And maybe they're gonna release the 3 female names tomorrow, and I'll be completely wrong. Hopefully that's the case. You know what I mean? Been wrong before. But again, shout out to the committee. First of all, let me say shout out to those people that are selected. And that's going to be Coach Kenny Hazelden. That's going to be Irvin White. And that's also going to be John Stamper. Congratulations to the first inductees into the Andrews High School Sports Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Yeah, I would vote for that too. Put Jared on the committee. But yeah, it just needs to reflect the history of Andrews. We're passionate about that history. And again, so this is a sign that, listen, we can't let them play with our history, so we got to stay on this, y'all. Yeah, that's what we're interested in too, Terry, the process. Will we get that answer? Hopefully we do, you know what I mean? But there was apparently a list put out, and what's supposed to happen is somebody's supposed to nominate you, doing a little write-up on you or whatever, and then submitting it. So
hey, Danielle has that posted on her page right now. She has a pretty good that post she put regarding this subject right here. So if you go to Danielle's page, she actually have the criteria posted right now.
Yes, she does. She hit the nail on the head. I'll say that.
She did. A lot of great points she made, and the criteria, the selection criteria is actually
okay. Good deal.
Yeah.
No doubt. No diggity doubt. Well, anyway, guys, listen, this was great debate. I mean, great conversation tonight. Wasn't a debate, great conversation. We'll see how it moves things forward. But should have had some females in there. I'm gonna scream that.
I'm proud of you there, Mr. Richardson.
Hey, listen, I watched Demetria Hannah drop 54 points in Andrews High.
She's the all-time. She still has the record for most points scored in Andrews High School gym. That record has not been broken.
And at Greenville, what's the college she went to up in Greenville? USC Greenville.
And she would tell you that the women that came before her deserve to be in the Hall of Fame as well. There would be no Demetria Hannah without Barbara Jean Hannah or Nadine Pink Darby Gibson, because these are the women that came before her. Donna Collins. Me Hannah, Val Jean Hannah.
College.
I mean, it's so many talented women. So many talented women that played under Thelma Hazelden. That's what a lot of people don't understand. And then trained going forward with your
trained by Odom.
Go ahead.
Trained by Odom.
Exactly. It's.
Hey, I would ask Danielle Dorsey.
Yep.
Danielle Dorsey is the name. You go to her Facebook page, and you'll see you'll see the criteria, and you'll also, I think it's important also to read her post, because she made some very good points in there that can help move this thing to this whole conversation, all the things that we talked about tonight. Very good points, and pretty much, getting the same things we talked about, but she put it, she nicely laid it out. So I recommend you go there and check it out.
No diggity doubt. All right, listen, guys. This winter storm is bearing down on us. Do you guys have any special plans in the town of Andrews we can pass on real fast?
Nothing different, man. We just got, and again, it's always going to be a challenge when we're talking about folks that don't have a suitable place to go, and there's no real solution for warming. Unlike when there's hurricane comes, they have a shelter. They don't have a shelter for
Extreme cold.
extreme cold weather, and that's a challenge.
Yeah.
So
check on your people. If you know
Check
somebody
on your
living by themselves, elderly, whatever the situation is, make sure you check on them. Make sure you check on them. With that being said, guys, I'm done. If you don't have anything else to say, we'll.
I appreciate the invite. We'll see you when we kick off Real Talk Tuesday again here.
No doubt. That'll be next Tuesday. We'll get that popping again.
And yeah, hopefully we can get the sports podcast going on.
It's all good, man.
By next Wednesday.
I'm working on a feature for that kid out of Wilson High School as we speak, brother.
Which one, Josh Leonard?
Who else? him.
Top 5 in the country.
No doubt. Him and
Tristan Thompson.
No, Councilman. I'm talking football now, but Councilman Wilson's son played in the Shrine Ball this year. Big time linebacker. I'm gonna get some time with him also too. But yeah, we're gonna make this thing happen. But anyway, man, I'm about to get me another cup of coffee here and go back and read through these comments. Again, I appreciate everybody for hanging in there in the comment section, adding to the conversation. We definitely we're gonna have to do this again. We're gonna have to do this again on a Tuesday night. We're gonna have to pick a night and just kind of, stay in tune on this, so that when there's a lot that there's a coming together in Andrews around the Super Bowl, around homecoming and the Heritage Festival that's really, really good, right? And so, of course, this year we had the little hiccups this year at homecoming with the ticket situation or whatever. But without communication, we're not going to fix these things. And I think it's important that we fix these things and continue to lift this town up, because we're going to have that's something else. So, but go ahead.
But let's keep the love for our school, our community, man, together. So we're going to have differences, but let's not. And we didn't do that tonight, and I appreciate that. We're not going to tear down our institution. We're going to get in there and fix those things that need to be fixed. And that's whether that's the community, the town, or our school. Let's help it grow. And hopefully, the opinions are considered. And,
that part. Don't get to those involved. Don't get your panties in a bunch over opinions. You want to hear the opinions. Even if you don't agree with them, you want to hear the opinions. So now, there's no, we know where we both stand. And I think the people were able to express that to Nizzle.
Yep.
Shizzle. Anyway, y'all have a good one. We out, y'all.
All right. Thank you, sir. Take care, bro.